Hi, hello. Hey guys. Welcome back to another episode of Accountants Lounge. We're your hosts. I'm Ashley Ford. This is Dawn Patton, and we're here to give you a peek behind our businesses and our growing virtual accounting firms. We've learned a lot from each other. We want to teach you guys what we've learned, and we also want to learn from you. So today we're going to chat about the true freedom that comes with hiring and growing a team. I know for myself, whenever I started my business, I knew that I wanted freedom. I just knew this word freedom. I was craving it. I wanted freedom to create my own schedule and freedom to choose what I did with my time and freedom of unlimited financial potential. So I thought when I started my business that I had freedom. But what it turned out was I really just created another job for myself. After about a year and a half of doing things on my own, I had left my full-time job and I was getting to a point where I was so burnt out. I was working crazy hours. I thought I had freedom because I was choosing to own my own business and choosing the clients that I worked with. But really, I had just created a job for myself. The only difference was that I was the one that ran the company.
And you're not
So it
alone
really wasn't a lot of freedom
thinking,
there.
yeah, you're not alone in thinking that way because I think that's a common entrepreneurial thing is again, chasing that word freedom. I like that you're like, it was a word. I was
At least
chasing
sounds
this
nice.
word. Yeah. And so you created freedom and you created freedom of choice is what you did.
Yes.
So you had all these choices and you got to choose and that felt so nice. But it wasn't actually the freedom of the life, like for the lifestyle and the business that you wanted. You had freedom of choice, and then that's kind of where the freedom ended.
Yep.
And eventually, good for you, you realized, oh, hey, wait, I think
This
I want actual freedom.
Something's missing.
Yeah,
The
maybe this
freedom.
isn't freedom. Yeah. And I think that's such a big point in hiring is looking at it, ego ego check for everyone right
Yeah.
here. Sorry, but take a step back for a minute and think about if you weren't your own boss, okay? Because right now, people listening to this, you have your own business, you are your own boss. Let's pretend you're not your own boss right now. To make it a little bit more real, this little mindset activity we're going to do, name your boss, okay? My boss's name is Lisa. Lisa's over here telling me this is my pay, these are my hours, these are my tasks. Are you feeling toward Lisa right now? Like, are you ready to be like, no thanks, Lisa, dropping this, I'm going to get a new job? Or are you like, this is the best job ever? And really take that and evaluate that because that is going to tell you if you have freedom of choice, like Ashley is saying she had, or actual freedom in your business. Yeah, that's an eye opener.
Yeah. And I think does Lisa have expectations of what you can do in a certain amount of time? Because I know I do that. I used to do it so much. I would be like, oh, I can, of course, get a million things done in one day. And then I would harp on myself at the end of the day for not getting all of those things done, which was completely
Mhm.
unrealistic.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we're talking about hiring, but also just watch how you speak to yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Is Lisa a mean boss or a nice boss?
Yeah. Like, how is she talking to you? Man, we're
Yeah,
really just harping on Lisa. Yeah.
I know. Sorry,
Um,
everyone who's named Lisa. I just
we
randomly
love
came up with
Lisas.
that name. I
Yeah.
have nothing against Lisas.
But I think too, are you in a season, maybe your response to hearing us say this right now is, yeah, but it's just temporary. Like I'm just working this much right now because it's going to pay off eventually. You're justifying having a job that you don't like, even though it's under a business that you created, because you know that you're working towards something that's going to pay off later. And my question back to you is, are you taking the steps now that you need to be taking so that it will pay off later? Or are you just doing the same thing that's going to keep you stuck in this cycle and you're not going to see that payout?
Yeah, stuck in justification
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah. I think it's really easy to get there. I get really excited about Pretty Penny, and that was no different in the early years. Even though I was burnt out, I still was excited about the business. I was excited about the clients that we were serving. I was excited about new opportunities. So there was still this level of excitement. So I justified a lot. I thought, okay, I'm really excited about this. I can see the potential. Like I can see it. I'm just going to work as hard as I can now and hustle like crazy because it will pay off eventually. Until I realized I wasn't actually taking any steps to change like the structure of my business so that I would be able to step out. I was just like adding more work onto my plate and on the early years onto my team's plate before we really changed things up and hired people in the right places.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, one of my freedom things that I feel like I got a little hung up on when chasing that word freedom or like creating it. I was
Yeah.
intentionally trying to create the freedom. Um, is that typically you can only go so far as what you've seen done before. Like that's all you know, right? And so from my previous work experience, all I knew before was that level of manager. And I had created a culture now in my business where that level of manager was way better than the previous firms that I had worked for. So I'm over here feeling super duper successful in creating this freedom for myself, working myself up to manager. I have a team below me. I'm feeling really good about things. Uh, okay, I say I'm feeling really good about things, but in actual, like in reality,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done doing these tasks. And so at this point, the way my business is structured, we do accounting and taxes for entrepreneurs. So we kind of have two different teams. Technically, we have three teams because then we have like an admin marketing team. But the two different, I was managing all three teams. And so there got to a point in my business where I was like, I cannot be the tax manager anymore. Hired my actually the girl that I hired to replace me at my old firm, who's the tax manager there. Like I had already trained her, knew I liked her style, wanted her here. She was finally ready to join our team. So I was like, phew, okay, took off the tax manager role. Now I'm just the marketing manager, the accounting manager. And in that moment, like not even weeks after hiring a tax manager, it dawned on me. It's not that I couldn't be doing both the manager roles. It's that I think I'm burnt out from manager. I don't think I want to be a manager anymore. When I got to this level though of like a little maybe a little identity crisis of like, well then what am I supposed to be doing? So and promoted someone else to be the accounting manager, promoted someone else to be the marketing manager. And here I am feeling like, did I just work myself out of a job? Like I'm the business owner, everyone. Like, hi, I'm still here. Not sure what I'm supposed to be doing anymore, but took off the task that I didn't want to be doing. And it was the most freeing, fulfilling feeling. I mean, it was still stressful. I'm still training people to do all these processes and take over, like it's not
Yeah.
it's not like picture perfect, but feeling so much better because the things that were like energetically weighing me down, things I didn't want were off my plate now. And then quickly realizing as I'm having this semi identity crisis, like, well, where do I go from here? Where do I go from now? Because managers, all I've seen, that was like my glass ceiling essentially.
Yeah. You'd
That I
worked
that I
yourself
had
to that point.
worked myself to the point. Now it's the next level. What does this next level even mean? What am I doing? Well, my calendar's still chock full of stuff. So clearly I'm still needed. And then realizing, oh, actually, there is a need above me. And this need
Yeah.
above me is all the things that I wanted to be doing. It's
Yes.
at least for me, I know everyone's different, but like for me, I love being just the idea person. I love being the visionary. I love coming up with ideas and being like, oh, let's do this. And then having someone else execute it for me. And then it comes back to me and I get to review it and be like, yes, that was it. You nailed the vision. Or giving feedback like, okay, I know I said this, but how about we try this instead? Like that role gives me life. And I wasn't able to do as much of that in these manager roles. And so, long story short, I guess just what I'm saying is boiling it down to is like, sometimes that freedom comes simply by being honest with yourself about the
Yeah.
things you don't want to be doing because I didn't recognize the things I wanted to be doing until I got rid of the things I didn't want to be doing anymore.
Yeah, and doing all of that gave you the freedom to now choose how you spend your time and where you want to take your business. I think sometimes when we're in the weeds of it, we don't even have the capacity to think 10 steps ahead of what we want to be doing, where we want to be
Yeah.
taking our business, and the things that we want to spend our time on, like seeing those ideas come to fruition. I
Yeah.
think that is true freedom whenever you get to choose how you're spending your time. I had a full blown identity crisis whenever I stepped out of doing the actual work in my business. I mean, I think you explained this too, to your point, is I was like, what do I do here? What is my role? I mean, I no longer have these like super client specific tasks or these other tasks that I was doing. And I was like, I need to get some work on my plate. And you said this too. I looked at my calendar. My calendar was still completely full. So obviously there was still things that I was doing. It's just my task work and the tasks that I was working on were no longer, they just looked different. They were more
Yeah.
ideas, strategic thinking, figuring out where I wanted to take the business. We launched an entirely new service, something I'd been wanting to do for years, but didn't have the capacity to
Mhm.
put the energy or thought into what it would look like to actually bring it to fruition.
Yeah.
And to me, that's true freedom in the business is being able to choose what that looks like. Maybe you're someone who still wants to do client work or you still want to do client meetings. You still, that lights you up, that and you enjoy those face to face times with those business owners, whatever that looks like for you, you then have the freedom to choose rather than sort of being a slave to the time that the job that you've put yourself into, even as your own boss.
Hmm. Yeah. I love it. I just all around, I think it's the coolest thing, entrepreneurship, the coolest thing that we just kind of get to willy-nilly create these jobs that support our life. And we get to create the rules and define what it
Yeah.
is and define what we're doing, figure out who we're working with. Like we get to pick how much we're paid, and who we work with, like both clients and team
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
We
Both.
get to pick that. We get to pick our work environment. We get to pick our schedules. Like that's
That's
cool.
amazing. And then you get to surround yourself with people that you enjoy working with and get feedback from them on what they would enjoy. And then like create and mold this really beautiful thing that is even more
Yeah.
rewarding because you know that it's been created and molded by all these things that have been brought into your circle. And you can see how much potential there is. I think every year when I look back at everything that's happened in the previous year in my business, it just gets me so excited about how much unlimited potential of places that we can still go because you get to choose. That's the freedom.
Yeah.
You get to choose where your business goes.
Yeah. Yep. And then on the note, I mean, yes, it's all about creating and choosing this business, but then on the note of hiring, like more dialed into hiring, this is only made possible, at
Yes.
least through our business models, it's only made possible because of the teams that we have to support us. Because we have people willing to take on the task we don't want to work, or the hours we don't want to work. Or if we want to work more hours, like, okay, then hire less people or take on more client work. And having the team to support this flexibility that we want, this like, hey, I'm going to test out this thing. Do I want to be doing this thing? Or here's this project that I now want to take on, but wait, I don't want more hours. I just want this project. Hey, the way that that's made possible is having a team to fall back on to take off some of the burden, take something else off your plate, or take on this project that you want. They can execute it. Like, it's just the coolest thing.
Yeah. I was able to take a maternity leave this year. And I mean, when I say maternity leave, I mean, I was completely checked out. I would have never been able to do that without my incredible team. Like I thank them for it all the time because that time was so precious. And before I really had my team set up well, I didn't see a possibility that I could have even left for 2 weeks, much
Yeah.
less. I really was away for 12 weeks. 8 weeks, I came back and started meeting with my team, but that would not have been made possible. That the freedom to be able to do that would not have been possible without such an incredible team.
Yeah. So thank you to our teams. We love you.
This is a love letter to our teams. We couldn't
Yes.
do this without you. Um, But really, the freedom that you're able to create for yourself and for your team members comes from bringing on a really incredible team. So, with that, Dawn, is there anything else you want to share? No. All right. I think we touched on a lot. We're so appreciative of you guys being here. We are learning from each other all the time. We're learning from you guys, and we're just happy that you joined us for another episode of Accountants Lounge. We'll keep taking you behind the scenes of our accounting firms and share with you what we learn. If you want to join in on the convo, join our Facebook group. It's free. We love to chat in there. We'd love to see you in there. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content, and we'll see you next time.